is Thespie Thursday. Woohoo! And this week, we have the amazing, incredibly talented Melanie La Barrie, everyone. Woohoo!
Hello.
And a dog, brilliant, and a dog.
At least usually in the summertime, I have my office door open and the neighbor's cat comes in and sits on the sofa behind there and makes an appearance in, like every meeting or every Zoom that I ever have. So,
I love that. I love that though. You've always got to have an animal standing by, I think so. Just to get you through. But Mel, how are you? Like, how is lockdown life treating you?
It is what it is,
Yeah.
I think I have a really just a kind of like rational view of what's happening. It's like, of course, there are things that I would love to do. I'd love to travel. I'd love to see my friends. I'd love to go to the pub and all of that. But that can't take precedence in my mind over what's happening nationally, what's happening globally, what's happening to my community, what's happening to businesses in my community. We have so many small businesses down here in South Croydon, and I cannot even begin to imagine the struggle that they're going through.
Yeah.
And so, so whatever it is I think or feel that I want to do is always kind of, just made real by what's happening more widely.
Yes, absolutely. Like I keep looking at when I have those moments when I'm like, oh, I miss theatre, or I want to, whatever it is, I want to go traveling, whatever it is. I think I have been genuinely so lucky in this whole thing. And like you said, I walk down my little high street and everything's boarded up, all the shops are like out of business, and I think you're doing okay. You're doing all right. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely with you. But listen, before lockdown, you were starring in the National Theatre's pantomime. How was it? Tell us about it. Tell us all the things.
I was so lucky. I didn't know that I was going to get to make theatre in 2020 again. It was like a real, very lucky, very extraordinary thing that happened to me, and I will be forever grateful. I have been like dying to work at the National as well, so of course it would happen in the weirdest of circumstances, because that's my life. My life is a series of surprises and adventures that happen in the weirdest way. I never have a straightforward journey to anything. It was incredible. They took extraordinary care of us. We had a socially distanced room the entire time. So we did our rehearsals in the Dorfman Theatre so that they could place us in our own seats and in our own zones. We had those little 2-meter buzzers. We wore little buzzers.
Ew.
Yeah, that buzzed us if we were 2 meters, like close to anybody. So
That's
you would,
amazing.
yeah, you would just adjust your distance the entire time. Of course, when I have somebody sitting 1.5 meters below me, mine was going off forever. I was like, Ruth, come on, man. So we all, we were had our hand washing protocol, our wiping down protocols, and it became a very, very natural thing.
Yeah.
If one person was at the tea station, one person was at the tea station. Everybody would just have to wait. We got our tests twice a week. So we were looked after.
Yeah.
And they never asked too much of us. We didn't have to, be there for hours and hours. It was all within the working day, the testing, and we still had incredible fun. We had just such a laugh, and we did 4 shows, we did 4 previews. And then the news came, and so we were going to, I think the news came on Monday and everything was closing, we had to shut the show on the Tuesday, and we were going to film. We had press night on the Friday. It was supposed to be press night on Friday. We were going to film on the Saturday 2 shows, and so we had to rush all the filming up. And what an extraordinary departments, that whole kind of anti-life department that they have, because they just, you know, got everything going, mobilized themselves, their teams. By that night, we got that news on Monday, and by Tuesday night, we had 8 cameras in the theater, the
Wow.
unit ready to mix the sound. You know, it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, a well-oiled machine. They're so used to doing things, but to do things at such a pinch, and you know, Rufus said that, you know, we just keep playing tracks until we run out of track, and we finally ran out of track, so we had to go home. And then we, on what was supposed to be our last week Saturday, we had a little Zoom party, and all turned up and had a, you know, told stories and
Oh,
reminisced, and it was fun. It
that
was,
is so nice.
yeah.
Have you so have you watched the film? Have you watched the
Oh
footage?
yeah, absolutely. I watched it because it was such good. I don't have this thing, you know, where people's like, oh, I can't watch this. It's like, I know at my age, I know what kind of actor I am. It's not gonna be a surprise anymore. It's like, oh my God, I can't. It's like, yeah, yeah, that's what she does. And and I watched it because it was so much fun, and I missed my friends. You know, I missed the friends that I made. I made some enduring friendships in that short space of time, and I suppose that would, of course, happen because we knew how special it was.
Yes.
You know, we knew the circumstances under which we were making theatre. It
Yeah.
was a real gift, and everybody who was there was incredibly grateful for that special gift that we've been given. And so, you know, there was a lot of patience and a lot of generosity, a lot of laughter. And so, of course, and also working with some of the most extraordinary talents, with Laura Chipley and Amy Booth Steele, and these young people, you know, Lawrence and Georgina, who just came out of nowhere and just blew my mind on a daily basis. And so, you know, it's just like, yeah, of course I watched it, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was great.
I think like what you're saying about it just being the most fun because I mean, it would have been fun anyway, even not under these circumstances. But I mean, that kind of camaraderie that you had because of everything that was happening. I feel like when everything does go back, or the first thing that you do when you know the pandemic is over, the experience is just going to be so magical, and we're going to be so grateful, and it's kind of all going to be worth it in a spiritual way. Do you know what
Yeah, I know. You know, I have some friends who always make this joke with me. They say, "How do you make an actor move? Give them a job."
Yeah.
And and it, you know, it makes me laugh the whole time. But uh yeah, you know, I suppose sometimes, and it doesn't mean that, you know, things can't be hard, and that you don't get to complain. Of course you get to complain, because sometimes, you know, life is sucky, and you want to talk about it. But I think, yeah, that whole sense of gratitude for the special thing that we get to make, and the special people that we get to make it with. I think you're absolutely right. It will be the thing that we feel first.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely. So you'll be so you were in Anne Juliet, obviously before, which I saw you in, which was amazing. I loved it so much. Not that I didn't expect to love it. I knew that I'd enjoy it, but I really enjoyed it. It was just one of those shows that I came out of and felt amazing. Like I felt so good and like upbeat, and yeah, it was incredible. What has been your favorite thing about being in that show, and like what have you missed most about that?
You know, I completely get what when you say that, you know, the level of enjoyment is always is higher, because on paper it's the weirdest thing. It's a Romeo and Juliet story told with pop music, and you just kind of go, I don't know if that's gonna be for me. It's always you know, like a discussion that we have. It's like, how are we gonna tell people about this show, because it is greater than the sum of its parts, and
Yeah.
it's got some extraordinary parts. You know, written by David S. Reed, and, you know, music by Max Martin, and directed by Luke Shepard, who is a real talent, you know, and the entire creative team that worked on it, and not to mention the performers. You know, there's so much that's good about it, but it is greater than the sum of its parts. In
Mm-hmm.
terms of what my favorite thing is, it will always be the people. If you ask me about what's my best thing about working on any show, is always going to be the people.
Yeah.
Um, because I can't make theater by myself. You know, you, theater is a community practice, and it works well and at its best when that community comes together to solve the problem of telling the story. Not that storytelling is problematic, but that's the task. The task is to tell the story. And when all those people come together with that one aim in mind, it's magical.
Yes.
And so, for me, the best part of any show, and it's especially Andrea, because we've been together for such a long time. You know, we've been working on this show. Some of us have been working on this show since 2017.
No.
And now it's in 2021. And if we open this year, I'm going back into the show in 2021. You know, so it's a long time
Yeah.
that I've been attached to this show. And for some of us, we've been together for, for the whole journey. Um, so we've known each other a long time. We spent a lot of time putting a lot of effort and energy into telling this story because it mattered. It meant something to us.
Yeah.
And so, and when you get people, you know, I get to share a stage with David Padella, and it's a dream come true.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's amazing, and yeah, he's just all love. You know, he's an extraordinary talent on his own. He's a supernova, right? And that he is allows me to be a part of his light on stage and to shine my light too is is so special. And we have the most fun. We have the most fun on stage because he's all play. You know, he knows what to do. He's like he's got skill coming out of every pore.
Yeah.
So he can have fun. He can make something and have fun. And
He's got a twinkle, isn't he? Always
oh,
got
he
a
is
twinkle in his eye.
twinkliest person, but just like he's quite exquisite. And you know, then you know, I've got my babies, I've got my Mims and my Tims, and you know, my Aarons and my Ollies, and you know, it's just like oh, and my Cassidys, you know, they're just so small, and I could put them in my pocket and walk around with them forever and ever and ever. Amen. You know.
Oh dear, I do think that I've said this in every interview that I've had, you know, over lockdown, over this period, and then what, you know, people ask, what's the first show you're going to go and see? And I have said, and Juliet, every time, because I'm like, that is the show that we need right now. It's positive, it makes you feel fantastic, it's love, you know. So anyone watching this and you haven't seen it yet, and when it's open, go and see it, because it's going to make you feel fantastic.
It does. It makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it makes you feel good to make it.
Yeah.
And also come and see Jordan. Just, you know, if you're not convinced to come see Jordan, just be sexy smexy.
You know what? I didn't see Jordan, but we had Jordan in Oops, I streamed it again, and he was wonderful. He's very dishy, very dishy.
Oh, he's so dishy, but he's so funny as well. He's like, you know, just the genuinely funny actor. He's so beautiful. He sings like a, you know, I mean, listen, Jordan is worth the price of admission alone. But you know, there is, you know, you know, everybody is stand alone. Everybody's worth the price.
It's honestly, it's magical, and this everything about it, the set, everything. So you've starred in one of our reunited concerts, which was wonderful. Tell us what that was like. I mean, you could tell the story if you like, because I know that's why Mel is holding her head in her hands. There's a story here.
I did tell the story on my Twitter because I was like, you had worked so hard, Aimie, at making sure that I remained involved in this project. And, you know, even because we were in rehearsals and because it was a kind of daily figuring it out. You just never knew when lockdown was going to happen. So every day we would have different start and end times for rehearsals. And so even when we did the photo shoot, I ran in there like 12 hours late, didn't I? Everybody was like, they've been there forever. You were like, you have to do it again. It was melting now. And everybody was so sweet. So I can't get over the effort that you put into making sure that I was a part of it. And then on the day, so I'm just telling this because you knew what happened.
Yeah.
On the day of the recording, they just extended my rehearsals. And I was like, oh my God. And you were like, still come. What if you could get here before 9?
Yeah, if you can get here before 9, just come.
Let's go. And then finally they let me go, and I ran. I don't even know what time I got there. I was sweating so hard. I felt as if I ran the entire distance from the National to the theatre. And then I was literally coming out of the tube at, right next to the venue. And I got that text from you saying, "Oh, don't worry, babe, we're all packing up." And I was like, "Oh, shit."
No.
But I'm here. But you know what? But something said, just go in. Because I was about to turn around and head right back down that lift in the tube. And something said to me, just go in and say hi. Because, I know you all had a brilliant concert anyway. And so I walked in to say hi. And you, with your can-do, amazing can-do attitude, said, do you want to sing a song? Do you want to do it? If I find a backing track, do you want to do it? And the song that I sing is actually a duet. So we found this backing track with like a whole extra bit in the middle. And we did it with one clip-on microphone, one camera, and us, and one light, and me sat in a bar, just kind of like digging my heels into the floor so I don't slide off that stool. Like sweat, wearing that top that is like, oh God, please don't get a sweat patch in this thing, because I was still sweating at that point.
Oh, do you know what though? It's wonderful the way it all happened, because it's kind of a nice interlude in between the different. It's like an act, like a interval in act, and it's beautiful, and yeah, you're stunning. And to do that after you've just ran from the Nash.
It was really funny. It was fun because everybody else was together and like doing the thing together, and there I was just popping up the bar.
It's amazing.
But again, it kind of speaks to the spirit of theatre, right? And when people decide that they want to make something, you have the idea and you say, shall we just do it anyway?
Yes.
How we do it? Let's find a way to do it, rather than just saying no. Oh well, we packed up the sound equipment. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
Both you and I entered again into that community of theatre and said, let's solve this problem together. And look at what we made.
That's one of the things that I miss as well, is like that show must go on mentality, which is just, when something, you've got 5 swings off and the lead's ill and you're like, what are we going to do? But you do it, and we always do it. So, and we've done it again with the pandemic. We've gone online, so we're not being silenced,
No, exactly. Even though they keep trying to
trying, but they can't bring us down. We've got this. We're going to keep going. Here's an interesting question. Are there any artistic talents that you wish you had?
Yeah, I wish I could dance, because I really can't dance to save my life. And I have worked
with dance.
No, not real dancing. It's mostly facial expressions and moving the hands. Don't look at the feet, don't look at the body position, don't look at, if I could just face the same direction and move in the same direction as everybody else, I can create the illusion of dance. But it was something that I always wished that I could do. I have very little skill, you know.
That's
I
not.
can sing and maybe tell a story and crack, I can, maybe tell a joke. But other than that, I've been extraordinarily fortunate to do as much theatre
I
as I do.
we all feel like that though, don't we? I feel the same. I'm like, no one's noticed yet that
Yeah.
that I'm not actually that good. I just keep doing swishing my hair around. No one notices.
Well, I'm just like, I'm just turn up and just talking my accent and everybody finds out funny. So I just keep doing that in every show that I ever do. um, yeah, and so it's one of those things that every time I see it, I enjoy dancers so much.
Yeah.
I enjoy that skill. I work I and have worked with the best dancers and choreographers and movement specialists and people who are so in tune with the instrument of their body. And every time I'm insanely jealous
Hmm.
of them and completely in awe. So yeah, I wish I could dance, like
I think
really
yeah,
dance.
mine would be something to do with dance. Like I love dance. I can dance,
You
but
can dance.
when you see someone like you said, really dance, like, and I'm like, wow, like I wish I could do that. I can get away with it. Again, I just kind of do this and no one notices. Um,
It's like Miriam Tiggy is, she's there. She's a stunning actress, and
mm,
then and she opens her mouth, and like silver bells and stuff falls out, and then she dances,
yeah.
and you're like, damn, what is it? Can you? She probably play an instrument. She could probably paint. It's like, is there anything you can't do? No, but when she moves her body, it's like something is happening. It's like another dimension has opened up,
Yeah.
and you see worlds and worlds and worlds. It's really something when you see somebody who can do that.
Yeah, it is. Do you play the violin?
I don't play violin. That's a cello.
Oh, it's a cello. God, it looks really small there on
I
the
know,
video.
far away. It's back
Cello?
here. No, it's set dressing. No, I have been. That's people talk about the things that they do in the pandemic, and I just do what it is I've always done. And one of the things that I always do is try to teach myself something.
Yeah.
I try to learn something new, and the cello is just something that I've been scratching for about 3 years now. I sound terrible and will never play for anybody, but it's something that I give myself,
Yes.
that I really like doing. So I do a daily practice. I practice for like an hour a day, and I'm getting no better because I should go and have lessons. Um, it's so bad, like it's so bad. I hear myself and it's like, oh, I wish that I could, and I have a mute so that it's just not so loud because it's
Yeah.
so bad. But it's something. You see, I I don't mind doing things poorly. Some people just won't do
Yeah.
things, or they do things so that they can get better at it. Um, Sometimes I just do things.
I
I do
think that's amazing. And anyone watching that is such because there's so many people who say to me, oh, I love to sing, but I'm not very good. I said, well, it doesn't matter. If you love to do it, do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do something to have like an end. Oh, I want to be whatever it is. If you enjoy something, just do it. If you want to dance and you're not the best dancer, but it makes you feel fantastic, then you have to do that.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes just the effort is worth it,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
not the outcome.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. I think we've got time for one more question.
Oh, I talk too much.
Let me pick a good one. Oh, okay, really good one. Thinking back on the very start of your career, what advice would you give your younger self with all that you've learned now?
Do you know, if I had to go back and talk to myself, I would say, do it again. Do it again. I'd probably eat less. I'd say eat less. It's You know, don't
Stop
be
it.
um, but but uh it's one thing that I've always felt very proud of is that I am always listening and I'm always open to opportunity and I always say yes.
Yeah.
Um, and so I I've had a career and a life that's been full of adventure. And I've come to places that I didn't even know. I had no intention of being here. So I've come to places that I didn't even know that I was going to end up, because I am always open to the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so I can't look back at my life and career and feel regretful, because I think that I've had the career that only I was going to have. You know, I didn't steal anybody else's career, and so I can't want somebody else's career. Sure, if I could be more famous and maybe win an award every once in a while, that would be great. But I have to do that, and maybe pick better roles, or work harder, or I don't know, do what I don't know. Maybe one day I will. Who knows? I'm not dead yet, so.
You're not. You're very much alive.
So you never know. The things that when you say maybe, I don't know if I could have done any better to be more than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I had to go back, I remember one time, really, and I'll do it really quickly. One of the first director that I worked with in this country. So I was brought over here to do a play, and one of the things is that we had it was a play I had done in Trinidad, but one of the things is that we had a new director to join with the old director, and so we had that experience of working with a British director. And he said that I was ordinary. And I remember the time being so hurt by it. And he was like, well, there's nothing wrong with being ordinary. But it turns out I have made a career by being ordinary. And I say this in the best possible way because I like the things that I've done. Since then, I've been called, the glue that holds things together, the mortar between the bricks, so I may not be the flashy thing. I mightn't be the brick. I mightn't be the sequins, but somehow I'm still quite important. That what I do is the thing that binds other things together.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, I would maybe, if I had to go back and tell myself anything, is to say, don't feel that hurt when he tells you that you're ordinary, because it doesn't mean that you're not important.
Absolutely stunning. That's what a way to end this interview. That was absolutely magical. I have a little tear in my eye there. Oh my gosh, it's like the end of a movie. Thank you so much for coming on Thespie Thursday. Melanie La Barrie, everyone. Woohoo!